You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm their host, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Laec.
Together we are Robre. How's every single one of you, family? It's time to talk about AEW Dynamite Homecoming 2021, and actually, pretty good show. I'm not gonna say it was awesome. I'm not gonna say I'm blown away, but at least what we wanted to happen happened. So we're actually happy about that. At least we're gonna hear from Paul, but I mean, I'm a happy customer. I got my meal. I enjoyed it. Nothing else happened. And I'm not, oh my God, I want another one. No. But at least AEW promised for me, and actually they deliver, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple segments on the show I really did enjoy, but still, your World Heavyweight Champion and your Tag Team Champions look like a bunch of losers, a bunch of goose. But, besides that, we saw a good main event, and we saw some other good stuff sprinkled in here and there. So I am excited with their momentum moving forward, but they got to, kind of lean more towards what we saw in the main event than, what we saw with the World Champion.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Like the World Heavyweight Championship picture is a little weak, but thank you to every single one of you for the love that you give us. We really appreciate that. Don't forget to support us in every single video that we do. For example, like the NXT review, sweet loss for Dexter Lumis, because like you said, folks, it doesn't happen. This is just like in the world of kayfabe. When you lose, you don't get the girl, and in this case, it seems like he got it, right?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, why not just have him win and then he gets the girl instead of him losing? He looks like a loser, but he gets the girl anyway, and this is just going to lead to a mixed tag match, and nobody cares. And, and like I said, the one thing we could hang our hat on was Karrion Kross, but he looks like a loser on Monday Night Raw, so do we even care about that anymore?
Exactly.
But the one good thing that, they can't take away from us is Dragunov and Walter too.
Oh no, that was a great stop. Don't forget, we will have NXT Takeover 36, in the channel. We're going to be live after the show is over. That's actually in 3 more weeks, like the weekend of SummerSlam. So that was pretty good. So now let's go about the first match that opened Dynamite, and that is the third labor for Chris Jericho going against Juventud Guerrera. This was actually, I thought it was going to be a lot better, but maybe, Jericho is not there, I'm not saying that he's not good yet. He's not good enough, but I'm saying the quality is not good to deliver this type of match that you need a certain caliber or a certain timing. And Juventud Guerrera did pretty good for me, but it was anticlimactic. This labor was to me one of the easiest ones. Nothing compared with Nick Gage and even with Shawn Spears. So what do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, the match itself, it didn't go too long. I think it was maybe 12, 15 minutes, into the show by the time it was over. And I think I'm not going to blame Juventud, with this. I know what you're saying, kayfabe-wise, this looked like the easiest challenge for Jericho, especially because, the only real stipulation was he had to, win with an aerial maneuver. But I thought Juventud looked great. And I mean, he's in incredible shape for his age. Yeah. He's got to be in his late 40s or early 50s. So, and all the bumps he's taken in his career. So, this guy's awesome. But like you said, Jericho couldn't really he's not Lionheart anymore. If Jericho maybe lost 50 pounds, then yeah, he probably could keep up with Juventud, but he really couldn't, So like you said, the one thing that I thought, was maybe because of all that is Juventud never really looked like he was in, control. He never looked like he was really going to win this.
Yes.
And that kind of made it seem weak. And, Jericho, because Juventud, when he was going for the big move, boom, he caught him in the lion tamer, and it was like, oh, no, it's done, or the walls, or whatever you want to call it, it's done. And then, but he got out, and the Jericho, he hits the Judas effect, but no, it wasn't from the top, so, it doesn't count. And then he just climbed up to the top and hit the Judas effect from the top, 1, 2, 3. Like you said, it seemed like pretty much the easiest one, but it was still cool to see Juventud. I popped for that. He looked good to me, so hopefully they bring him back.
No, yeah, like you said, hopefully they make a toy. Maybe they sign him a Legends contract or something.
Oh, I love that.
He's awesome, but I don't know. It's just even there were some spots in the match that, like you said, it looked really how they choreographed the whole thing, because Juventud was like this, waiting for them. It was all right, dude. Okay,
yeah, come on. He's come on,
so that took me away. But I'm not saying I'm a big fan of Chris Jericho, but I'm just saying maybe this type of matches are not there anymore. Maybe the style, the pace is not there.
Commentary. Shivani said, even though Juventud is still under 200 pounds, they're like, these guys went from cruiserweights to heavyweights. No, just Jericho.
Yeah, just the one guy. But, despite of all of that, Juventud had a great showing, and that's what we wanted to see. Maybe he didn't even bring Lionheart back, so maybe we know the reason now. But, then Wardlow came out, he attacked both Jericho and also Juventud. So maybe I'm thinking that Juventud is going to play a factor next week. Because MJF was actually on commentary, and also he said the fourth labor is going to be Wardlow, and actually the stipulation is going to be that, MJF is going to be actually a special guest referee, just to make sure that, Jericho doesn't get to the fifth one, and that will be MJF, and that's going to be all out. But we'll see what happens. But, like I said, good match when it comes to Juventud, and Jericho, here you go. It doesn't matter, at least he pulled off the match. I'm not going to say it was a 5-star, not even a 3, but, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see this next week. MJF is the ref. I want to see how they're going to do this. Is it going to be some kind of SummerSlam, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker deal? Or what's going to go on here? Because obviously Wardlow's not going to win. It's so, and then it's just over. No, Jericho's going to make it all the way to the end. So I want to see how, unless MJF takes a bump, and he's knocked out, and they send out
and
another
then Jericho's
ref,
going to grab the hand, and then what does
or they send out another ref, and then that ref just counts.
Or for example, I will do what they used to do with Stone Cold. The ref will be done, and then Stone Cold will grab the hand, and 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of it. So maybe that's going to be next week. Like I said, family. So now let's go really quick with a segment between Andrade and the Niños, because he called him Jean-Paul Pop for that, the Niños, and that's the Lucha Bros. And he says, what, kids, did you guys enjoy the ride, the caviar, the steak, all the luxuries? And he's no. He's you guys want to work for me? No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be part of the team. And Alex says, Penta says no. So they're refusing. They don't want to be part of this. They want to still be friends with Pac. They want to keep the Death Triangle, because it never really came to fruition. So we'll see about it. What do you think, Paul? I don't know. I don't like Andrade mixed into this. I feel he should be involved in other things, just because, again, he needs to be a solo guy. He doesn't need the rest of the Hispanic family there. The heritage or the friends.
No, and I really don't.
At least for me.
Yeah, and this was good. Alex is really good. The way that you can tell Penta said way more than no. He was probably cussing him out, yelling at him. He's just, Penta says no. So, he's good. But where is this going? Where is this leading? Like you said, this is, a group, and it's but is Penta and them, they should be going after the tag division. Pac should be going maybe after Miro or something. You can be friends, you can be legit, but you should still have your own goals.
Yes.
Unless they make, trios championships or something.
Which there's been reports about
like you said, with Andrade, what's his involvement in this? Is he going to have a singles feud with Pac? Is he going to take these guys? If not, you almost need to bring in 2 other guys to be in Andrade's camp to feud with them.
No, yeah, like you said, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I just don't like him being there, just because I want that maybe later on,
It doesn't
later on. Be on your own for now. Do other win championships. That's what you should be.
Unless they're gonna bring Chavo back.
Yeah, well, and also all of that stuff. Penta was talking Spanish, and don't they understand Spanish too? You know what I mean?
Maybe he was translating it for us at home. So
I guess, for
me at home, you knew what he said.
No, that's all he says, so that's fine. Dark Order, Jean Paul, or Hangman Page, so we need to split up. We need to be on our own. It's this is my stuff. This is my troubles. I created this. I was member of the Elite. Right now, I have to fix it. So, and then they don't want him to leave, but then Evil Luna, Jean Paul's favorite. He's hey guys, he needs time. So why don't we leave him alone? So Hangman Page is trying to separate himself from the Dark Order, and that's fine, because I feel that he's gonna have more edge if he does that. But I like this promo.
Yeah, Hangman is good, but the Dark Order, again, they're just hey, what's wrong, buddy? What's wrong, buddy? And people said Bray Wyatt's gonna come in and lead these guys. Well, then he better, make him act more legit, or otherwise Bray Wyatt's going to be just as buried here as he was in WWE. But, no, this is good for Hangman, because, like we said, if you weren't going to do it now, you're going to save it for, maybe the big pay-per-view or something like that. That's fine. But, you needed to kind of get him away from the picture. This is it. He needs to clear his mind. And, we saw what happened later on. But, this was pretty good. For Hangman. Hangman
is good. So they're trying to make him look like a number 1 contender, which he should. So Eddie Kingston, John Moxley, and Darby Allin, 3 top guys, main event guys against the Ever Rice. known as 2.0 now, like Jean Paul says, because the Young Bucks, they finally acknowledging that. They debuted on AEW yesterday, so now it's the first match, and also with Daniel Garcia, and this was just a job match, pretty much that's what it was. Everrise is still like jobbers, unfortunately. I mean, they have talent, they're kind of funny and all of that, but like all of that was like just spam the big guys, like the top players here. And staying right there, then Darby Allin did a suicide dive that almost takes him out, like so fast.
That was legit. He's like a missile. Yeah, and he's just like, "You're Sting, you're the real Sting." Oh my god! And he's like marking out, boom, and he just like kills this guy.
Yeah,
that was Darby, like Eddie Kingston and Moxley. They were just goofing off, having fun. Like you said, they're top guys. To them, this was just like a match, in a barn in front of like
rehearsal. Rehearsal. Yeah.
Yeah. They were just like, whatever. This is fun. But Darby was so serious, and the crowd loves him. Even at the end here, like we saw, boom, all the big moves. I thought it was going to be paradigm shift and done. No, they did the right thing. They tagged Darby. They let him get the coffin drop. He gets the pin. He climbs up on the apron. He's going crazy. And the crowd loves him. And what's this? Is that Nash and Hall and Sting, or like what's going on here?
That's what it is right now. But I mean, like I said, like I always respected Sting. And like this, I mean, again, he doesn't. If he's not needed in the show, you know what I mean? Because he becomes regular. But like if he's there every time that maybe Darby needs help or because I put face paint and I just show up. I just feel that like every time he's in danger, every time that he really needs him, that's when he needs to show up. But I mean, that's what you said. It was just a goofing match. It was just like what it was. So like moving on, like there's still the feud with like Ricky Starks saying that he's better and he's going to actually honor the World Championship or the FTW Championship. And then Brian Cage, so like I busted my ass for 15 years, and you didn't bring me here to AEW. All the stuff that you were saying last week. Remember when he sent the tweet and all of that? So they're still continuing with the feud. I mean, they're going to have a match, probably an all-out. It's going to be for like either the title or just themselves. They probably going to add another stipulation, which is okay. But this is, again, they're just trying to break up, or they already did, a team that like could have done a lot better, but they never knew how to book the team.
Yeah, and how about Cage when he's like, "Oh, I never wanted to be a part of Team Taz. I never wanted to, be." Then why did you do it? He introduced you. Could have been like, "Dude, get out of here." So it's not a good promo. It didn't make any sense. Starks legit, Taz and them. Starks needs to beat him again. And you know what I would do with Brian Cage, honestly? I mean, this makes him look like a loser, but I'd be like, dude, go work Impact for a couple months. Because they have nothing for him, and especially if they bring Bryan, CM Punk, and all these other big names. Brian Cage is going to just get lost in the shuffle. He's just going to be on Dark and Elevation. He's going to be the king.
Or Rampage. Yeah, like you said, like I mean, the one thing that like to bring so many guys and with that level of like that caliber of that type of like name is just like the guys that like weren't middle name or anything, even lower. I mean, are you going to enjoy CM Punk against Brian Cage? Probably not. Daniel Bryan against Brian Cage? Probably, yeah, a little bit, because Bryan is better with, like, big guys, but we'll see. But like you said, like, unfortunately, the Whole Elite, they still goofing off also. Like, they were just saying that, like, they're the best champions of all time in the business. They don't have anybody that can go against contendership with them. They did say that, like, the Good Brothers are going to go against the Dark Order for the Impact Tag titles. So you can see, like, the level that they actually appreciate the Dark Order there. And Kenny Omega just making fun of Adam Hangman Page. But we will see, like, the ending of, like, all this story in just a few more minutes, Paul. Any comments, or should I keep going?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that they're going to actually challenge for the Impact titles. I mean, that's going to be cool because, like we say, when does Impact ever get, like, kind of really featured on AEW? And it's like now we're going to see those belts are going to be exposed. So that's kind of cool for Impact. And I don't think the Good Brothers are going to lose them or anything. But, yeah, I mean, Omega had some good stuff here. But when you see him wearing the cutoff, Daisy Duke jean shorts and the Cookie Monster shirt, no.
Yeah, I mean, like a champion should look just a little bit better, maybe more edgy. Maybe, I know we know Kenny. We know Kenny loves the
What was wrong when he had the suit? When he had the suit and the sunglasses?
I mean, if he would have done Rockman, I would have been more legit for me because, Kenny Omega and all of that. But, like, like Sesame Street, maybe not my cup of tea either. So let's talk about Christian, a guy that actually doesn't wear the suit, but at least he wears the ring attire, going against the Blade. It was just another one easy. Why? We knew that, like, he was going to actually win. A little bit of interactions with the bunny. There you go. Jean-Paul wants that storyline. He remembers if Edge had one, why can I have one, right? Yep. And then, like, she was playing a factor in the match, but then we had to see legit Layla Hirsch. And that wasn't the most legit part for me. She takes care of the bunny, and then we had to see the brass knuckles. The Blade was about to use them, but then spear, 1, 2, 3, and done. And Christian actually has a perfect record. He's undefeated, and at this point, he becomes the number 1 contender. And he doesn't even have to do the kill switch for the Blade. The spear is good enough.
Yeah, I mean but see, did anybody care about this match? That was the real thing. It was, the Blade, I think, got too much offense on him. Beating Christian. This match should have been Christian beats his guy in 5 minutes. Like you said, Layla Hirsch coming out, okay, it sets up the match for later on, but why does Christian need all this help? This should have been 5 minutes done. He beats the shit out of this guy. Boom, gets the mic. Omega. You're done with Hangman. I'm undefeated. Let's do this. Cut it, be badass for one. Can anybody be legit? You know what I mean? It's like, that's the whole thing. It's, and we saw even when he had the promo in a little bit when he calls out Omega, he's singing the Golden Girls theme song. So how
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Girls is legit, but how can I get into this?
Yeah,
come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, Blanche. Yeah. I gotta love it. Yeah, Moolah, I think is the name from the grandma.
No. That's the fabulous Moolah. Now we're
yeah. But we're gonna talk about the conclusion of the promo a little bit. Like you said, Santana and Ortiz, like the rivalry against FTR is still up. Is they haven't, like you said, this will be so much better. They will actually put the titles on the line. This will be one of the greatest rivalries. But the one problem is that the titles are not involved there, because I would love to see these guys fighting for it. Even go the title back and forth. I don't care. But a great promo by Santana and Ortiz. They said it doesn't matter who the winner was going to be. This one's going to still going on because we're not done yet. And then we got to see Dax, right?
Yeah.
And then he will say, you guys tried to kill my bro, all of that. And then you see the blood right here. So Paul, like, you love this. You love this.
Oh, I mean, the promo was legit because he's like, if Death couldn't stop him, he's like, what the hell do you guys think you're going to do? So he's calling them out. They're calling. This was just great. The intensity is there. Like we said, how is this not, that same Pride and Powerful, they could be the tag team champions, and these guys are coming after, or like, some kind of storyline, where the belt should be involved, not because it needs the belts, but because this feud is so legit, it's so good, it would just elevate those belts. It would make those belts feel more important, because it's involved with a feud like this. Like we say, you need wrestlers to make the belt. The belt doesn't make the wrestler.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's what, like, Sophia, there you go. Now I know. I got to Google that, but like, I agree with you. The belts need to be on one of these two, because they actually represent the tag team division. And I mean, the Young Bucks are great wrestlers, but they're not really in that mix which they should be. So that creates a problem. So hopefully, like this, actually, one of them takes the titles away from them and actually start feuding over those titles. But let's go now with like Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and actually Red Velvet comes out. So Red Velvet actually won the championship with her, and that was okay. I'm not against it, because look elsewhere. There's nobody that like is a legit or like a credible babyface. Nobody's built up, and she says, "Oh, like my record is 22-4, and I actually have like 7 straight wins." So she said, "Hey, it's time for a championship match." Britt Baker just trash talk her, took care of it like that, and then done. She makes fun of her. She uses one of the clutches or the crutches, and there you go. I mean, it's gonna be okay, and I'm not against it, because again, there's no other girl that can go against Britt Baker.
Yeah, I mean, they really don't have anybody else, and Red Velvet had a lot of momentum. Then we saw that match, I believe it was against the Bunny, where she tried to do her best Darby Allin impression, shot herself out, and almost broke her neck or her spine, whatever that was. So, now she probably came back. Now obviously she came back, but now she's probably good, to go. Hopefully, everything's healed. Nothing was too serious, but this match, I think, like I said, she had the momentum. So now it's like, it doesn't feel as like, it's like, should this be the feud? It might not feel as hot as it should, but like you said, there's really nobody else.
Because that's and also at least they're trying to make sense with it, because it's like, I'm the number 1 contender because I won this so many matches. Have you guys seen any of my matches? No, because you guys don't see.
You guys don't watch YouTube. Oh well, shit. Then you
that's at least, hey, she knows the stats. I'm cool with it, so that way she can actually challenge for it, because it makes sense. I rather that than just like, I beat you, and then I actually got the number 1 contender. So that's fine. I'm not going to shit on that. So they're going to have the match, like we say, in the first night of Rampage. That's going to be next Friday. And Britt Baker's going to go over. Let's not fool ourselves here.
That's in Pitt. Is that the show that's in Pittsburgh?
On Wednesday is going to be in Pittsburgh. I don't know. Maybe they're going to actually like stay there. They might be there.
Okay, because I felt like I thought that it was because it's like Britt Baker. She's going to be defending the title in her hometown. I mean, that's how that would be legit. But
and you know what WWE will do, right? They will actually
then
give
she
the
would
title
lose.
to Red Velvet. Yeah. Thank you, Vince. We know how you operate. That's fine. Let's talk about more Andrade here because that's the one thing about this show. So many segments with the same people, and we shit on WWE. At least I have shit on that on WWE, so I have to do the same here. Why so many segments with these guys? There's nobody else, or at least save those times and give me more match time. But I mean, here you got to see Fuego del Sol. They grab another Hispanic because they're all Hispanics here. Even that Dasha Fuentes is Hispanic there. So I don't know what it is, but am I watching Triple Mania here or Triple A? I don't know. But then they just took care of him. They made fun of him. And Chavo is saying that the Lucha Bros that at some point they need to work with Andrade. They saying if there's more things like this are going to keep happening. I don't know how you feel about this, but again, one more time, I'm not for Andrade to be doing this type of things. He needs to go against, like I said, Miro. He needs to go against Omega. He needs to go against Christian. That should be okay. We are the same level, and then whoever wins goes to Omega. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean, he could even go after, because the Forbidden Door. He could go after Lance Archer for the U.S. title. Obviously, New Japan would have to okay that, but he's worked in New Japan before. So I'm sure, they wouldn't mind him working there again. And, you could just trade the title all this thing. Tanahashi versus, Andrade. That would be badass. The marks would pop for that. I'd pop for that. So, I mean, that would be good. But no, this is just so stupid. If you didn't have the first segment, I wouldn't have minded this one so much. But like you said, you saw him twice because he could have just beat them up and sent a message like, this is what happens when you mess with me. Instead of but you just talked to these guys earlier. So it just...
Exactly. So again, too much of the same. That's what I want to say. So I didn't like that at all. But let's go to the next one. This was actually really good because again, the Adam Hangman Page is addressing the AEW universe, and the whole Elite comes out, and the Bucks are making fun of him, and Omega has a good promo. It's we don't have room for you anymore. We spend many nights, we didn't sleep, just thinking how we can forgive your sins and actually make you feel part of us one more time. Actually, we had a similar situation with certain person, but we will never be the same again. So we actually are saying the same thing that Kenny Omega says is you're never going to be part of us. We don't associate with losers. And then when Adam Page actually was trying to get some offense on Omega, they really kick his ass, which is good because it builds the credible babyface. It makes you want to see Adam Hangman Page defeating Kenny Omega for the title. So I like this. It's fine. One beatdown is good. I'm not against it.
Oh yeah, I mean everything was good. Omega, he delivered a line, something. He's like, you might be a cowboy, and because the crowd was chanting cowboy shit, I wish he would have said, but you'll always be shit.
That would have been
swear to. I'm like, please say it. That would be so badass. Of course, no. He's like, you might be a cowboy, but you'll never be back in the Elite. I'm like, what a stupid fucking line. But anyway, this was good. They're beating him down, like you said. This could be used in the video package, in the promo, when they get the title match and everything. But this, to me, was stupid. I know Hangman said he wanted to do it alone. The Dark Order, the losers, they come out to help. Then the other two are like, no, let him do it alone. And then they're fighting. And then, the commentary and the cameras is focusing on them fighting. And I'm like, that's not important. This is what's important. If you wanted to do that, you should have just had him be in the back. You could have cut to him later. Oh, guys, why didn't you help Hangman? Oh, well, he said, he didn't want us to come out and help, and we wanted to, but we respected his wishes. Save that for backstage or something.
Even Kazarian tried to make the save, but 1 against 5,000, so it's not going to happen. So Magic Killer, you got to see the double the double B trigger, all of that. In the end, Omega also beat him up with the title. He says this is as close as you're going to get to this championship. Don't forget that. So cool, like you said, you're building Adam Hangman Page as the guy. A lot of reports came out that he's not going to be main event in All Out. I think that actually they're coming out with those reports to actually make you believe he's not, but then he will because they're trying. They have to this has to be the match. It doesn't matter if it is CM Punk debuted. It doesn't matter if it's Daniel Bryan. This is your title, and your title should be the main thing in every single show. So this was.
I mean, unless they're going to do Christian and they're really going to drag this out, and it's going to be Double or Nothing, or one of the or Revolution, or one of their other papers.
Full Gear, I think, will be the one.
Full Gear, whichever. But I mean, I don't know because what we saw later, like we said with Christian, he's technically the new #1 contender. But
Yeah, no, and it's true. So now let's go, really quick. This guy, remember, he runs Bellator. He's one of the guys that actually promotes wrestling, all of that, and Lars Archer took care of him. So he says next week he's gonna come back, and he says, "Well, I'm not gonna come alone." So maybe a guy from New Japan, somebody an opponent for Lars Archer.
Oh, so probably one of his Bellator guys. One of the guys who actually is an MMA fighter who's legit. He'll probably bring with him, because that would make the most sense. And, he said, I'm going to speak more of the truth. Because he pretty much, last time he was there, he cut a Jim Cornette promo. This is all fake. This isn't real wrestling. You're all bullshit. And, Cornette said on his podcast that he even knows this guy, and everything. So he's just I don't know why they're beating him up to get after me. Because, is that the closest they can get?
I guess.
I agree. But, I don't know. We'll have to see. But, if they want to do a crossover, to get the Bellator fans or something, you got to have these guys get over.
Yeah.
But is that going to really be at the expense of Lance Archer?
Probably not. I'm thinking Lance Archer is going to go over. So, especially he needs to look strong for the match of Resurgence. That also Moose is going to be fighting another guy from New Japan. So, the Forbidden Door, legit, the Forbidden Door is all these 4 companies are really working together, which is good for business. I'm not against that. That's what you should do in this era. Right now, working with surprise people, I'm all down for it. So, Miro. Yeah. TNT Championship against Lee Johnson. What did you think of it? To me, Lee Johnson had a pretty decent showing. I think that he did all he could. But then when it came to the end, and it was just hey, bro, you know what you got to do. Mashka cake, and, game over and done.
I mean, that's pretty much all you can say. Like you said, Lee Johnson, he fights from behind. He makes the comeback, when he can. He uses his speed, athleticism, to try. But try as he might, no. You're not going to beat Miro. Nobody thought he would. And, this was all right, but I really want to see a legit feud for Miro. This is fine until you build somebody up. This is what you should do with Miro. He should just destroy guys. That makes him look super legit. To me, he's the best looking TNT champion. No disrespect to Brody Lee, but, Cody, I didn't care for Cody's reign. Darby was, he didn't defend the belt at all. Then he defended it how many times in a row every week against guys, but he, I don't know. Miro just, to me, looks the best as the TNT champ. So hopefully he has a long run until they build up a credible guy to, challenge him.
Yeah, no, it's a good run, but it needs a good feud. It needs to be a close match. It's almost similar a little bit what they did with Lance Archer, but a little better. It needs to be a clear baby face. So okay, I'm gonna maybe this guy can take it away from him. Oh no, he couldn't. All right, good. So these guys are gonna be the team for Rampage, the announced team. I mean, everybody that is a former wrestler and Excalibur. So, yeah, sure.
All former WWE guys and then Excalibur.
Yeah, WWE guys and Excalibur. Yeah, for me, they should be 2 guys. That's it. You don't need that many people right there. But, hey, we'll see what happens. Like you said, the main thing that we're actually looking forward to is, see if, Rampage has any situations that actually connected with AEW Dynamite. You have anything, with storylines.
Yeah, if it's a Raw. If it's old Raw and SmackDown where it's
a correlation between
or if we're gonna see the same storylines on both shows.
Oh yeah, so that's the main thing we're looking forward to see that. But example, thank you for being my friend. Travel down the road and back again. That was you said. Maybe Christian wanted to be funny. I guess he popped me for that. This song. I love the Golden Girls, but he's you said, he's number 1 contender, and he says, you know what? Next week in Pittsburgh. Maybe something will happen. Maybe he challenged Omega there, or like you said, maybe this is going to be the match at All Out, which I'm not against it because Christian needs to look legit. He says, hey, I came back. They took away this from me 7 years ago. I won championships. I want to prolong my legacy. So that's good. I'm all for it. And, I know that you like this. You've been saying it. This needs to be the match ever since he debuted. So finally they understood that, and they seem that they want to give them to us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And, that's why I could see this maybe being at the pay-per-view. Because I think if you're going to do CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, if they're going to come in, you're not going to be they come in, they get a title match immediately. At least I don't like that, even though they're the most legit guys you'll have on your roster. I still don't think you should do that. They should have a feud or two. But, this is, if you're not going to do Hangman, if you really want to drag that story, but see, also, if you debut these guys, how soon do you then want to put the belt on them and be sorry, Hangman? You know what I mean? So it's I really don't know. Again, I think too many people, too many storylines all going on at once. But we got to see. Maybe they'll just do this match on TV. But if so, that kind of sucks for Christian.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's you're always going to be seen as below Edge, which in my eyes now they're actually as good, or even Christian can be a little better. But let's go to like Layla Hirsch, legit Layla Hirsch against the Bunny. This was actually not a bad match, and I will credit that more to Layla because she's actually a legit wrestler. I like that. There was also Camille. She was actually in the audience, so I like that because they were fighting for a spot in the NWA tournament to go against her. So I like this. See, these little surprises I'm okay with, and I really appreciate that because that way, like the reports, or like the spoilers or like the dirt sheets, they don't mention any of this. So I like that. At least it's like, oh, she's there. Okay. So they're treating this seriously, and I appreciate that. We got to see this stare down. I don't know why. We've seen this match before. I don't know why they're even going against each other. But, like really good showing from like Layla. The Bunny tried like super kick. She did the body driver. It doesn't finish anybody. In the end, the crumbs are breaker. Really good, and Layla finally wins. And this is like Frieza against Goku, right?
Oh yeah, you see the the huge the stare down here, but the height difference and everything. I mean, this is good because the NWA, it's all about wrestling, like we said. It sucks Layla Hirsch is 4'11", so she doesn't look intimidating at all to really anybody. Even the ref towers over her. But this is I think AEW is the one company, they don't really care about that. They're not like the WWE where it's like, oh, you're short, we'll get out of here, forget it. But, I think with her pedigree, I mean, she's not the best women's wrestler, but I think in a couple years, Layla Hirsch, can be a name if you really keep using her. And I'm glad she won here. So I wouldn't even mind if this was the finals, but, if, I don't know, is Thunder Rosa in this tournament? If so, maybe they'll go with that matchup, Camille, Thunder Rosa. I really don't know what they're going to do, but this I didn't have no problems.
I want want to be the final with Hirsch.
The only thing I didn't like is, again, all the interference, like you said, Statlander. It's like, why? Why can't we just have a match?
Is just You know why? Because they're actually going to fight next week. So like this is not needed. I mean, like unless they're building Statlander as the next number one contender for Britt Baker, but still, because we've seen this before. They need to bring other girls. They need to give the other people opportunities. Hikaru Shida, we haven't seen her on Dynamite since she lost the championship. She's been on Dark, she's been on Elevation, but here, what's going on? But like you said, this is really cool. This is really legit for legit Layla Hirsch. We haven't seen this girl, and actually we find an answer for it because she's actually promoting her brand more than the wrestling. So they're actually, unless the title is on a babyface, she does not have room to have any presence in the show. Unfortunately for Karrion, that's what I feel, at least. But like, she needs to go over more girls also. She needs to go over Yuka Sakazaki, like girls that like are in the show too. So I don't know what they're gonna do with her, but like all these promos for me, I'm not enticed.
No, like you said, we need to see her wrestle, be dominant, beat people up. I mean, I thought I saw something that she was injured, so maybe they're milking that. But then I thought she was wrestling on YouTube, so I'm like, I don't know. But she just needs to be on TV, like you said. She needs to get over more. But.
Yes, she needs to get over more. So, like we said, next week we're going to see like the Dark Order, or we're going against the Good Brothers, and like, at least the Impact Tag Team Championship are going to be defended. The only thing that's ever going to come up because we don't see Perasso, we don't see Jordan Grace, we don't see Sami Callihan, we don't see Moose. I mean, we don't see any of the main guys from Impact. That's the closest we're going to get. So that's going to be next week. Now, Paul, I'm going to give the floor to you because tell me a little bit about the good and the evil. Did they do right for us? I think that they did, because finally Cody Rhodes actually put over a guy, and in the best way possible. Maybe not the end, but at least the whole, from the beginning until the end of the match, it was actually really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this match was fantastic. The only thing I didn't like was really like what happened after the match, but I mean, this was great. Aleister Black, his entrance, the ring gear, like that mask, that's badass. Cody came out. He, with his big like uniform, looked like he's a band uniform or captain general, whatever. He had his big entrance gear on, and the match was good. Lockups and everything. Aleister Black, they get in the ropes. He separates, boom, big kick to the inner thigh. Cody selling that. Cody goes for the figure four. He gouges the eyes. Okay, clearly, if you didn't already know, Aleister Black's the heel. He uses the dirty tactics like that. Then the knee bar, everything like that. This match was really good. The strikes from Aleister Black, and it's when I watch him here, and then you think back to the NXT days, and it's like, man, where has this guy been for the past how many years? Oh, on WWE main roster. Oh, okay. That's what happened to him. So it was great to see him here, and they did a little spot which I liked, because it was done naturally. It seemed like it wasn't set up, but I just wish it was executed a little better. And that's when he had him on the top. Aleister Black kicked Cody, and you could see it was like half a second, and then Cody pretty much threw himself back through the table. It should have been where like Cody kind of gave him like a signal, like I'm about to throw myself back. So make sure it looks like you kick me as I'm throwing myself instead of the kick. And then he throws himself. So that looked kind of funny. But I mean, legit, he went through the table. Oh, is it going to be a count out? What's going on? Barely crawls back in the ring. 9 count. He stands up. Boom. Black mask done out of nowhere. Jim Ross was selling the hell out of it. Oh my God. The rest of the commentators like, but Jim Ross was going crazy selling it. And, 1, 2, 3. That's
look at the pin.
It. Yeah, that's what I mean. No, it was, imagine if he would have kicked out.
Oh, done.
You would have heard a sea of boos. But no, that was it. He was done. And this was great. But you saw, well, what the hell? We still have almost 10 minutes left of the, what's going on here. So you knew there was going to be some other shit. Shivani comes to the ring. He's like, oh, let me get a word with Cody. Bullshit right there. This should have ended at 9:58. They should have had a stretcher and carried Cody out. You should have sold the black mask legit. But instead, in 30 seconds, Cody's to his, he's like, oh, he's groggy. Then he starts talking. Then he gets to his feet. And he pretty much thanks everybody. He's like, oh, we're not just, the alternative. Now we're real competition. It's all thanks to the fans. He puts them over. He's like, I've been here for 3 years. I've been the face. I've done so much. But,
I'm carrying the flag. Yep.
Yeah. Pretty much that there's other guys, other stuff, other opportunities. At first he wanted to win the belt that his dad got stolen from him. But, now his goals and aspirations have changed and all this shit. And then you see him, he starts taking off his boots. And, you think, oh, well, that's going to be I'm going to retire. Because we all know he's going to film more stuff with the Big Show.
Or the Big Show. He's going to have, he's going to be a few months off,
Yeah, so he needs time to go film that and all this stuff. And to me, you could have just sold it like an injury. It could have been like Cody was convulsing in the ring, and it's like, oh my God, his neck, like, when he kicked him, it like snapped his neck. Oh, that you could have sold the injury instead of like, but it seemed like they're going to have another match. Because as he's taking off his boots, he gets hit in the back and everything. Aleister Black beats him up. So, and he grabs one of the boots. So you see, it's like, no, bitch, I'm not letting you retire. We're going to have another match. Maybe at the pay-per-view in a couple weeks. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But match itself, fantastic. The aftermath, in the beginning, it really was bad. And then they kind of saved it. So, we'll have to wait and see.
No, like, at least, with this picture right here, I love this. They did right by him. And that's what, like, hopefully that translates into like more legitness, more like seriousness with him. They take care of the character, they protect the character, so that will be what he wanted. Be like this dark figure that like has like, I don't want to say superpowers, but at least the fact that he's dark, like he is difficult to beat. Mm-hmm. So like that's what like probably
me, you could do Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson versus Malakai Black, CM Punk, Malakai Black. I mean, there's so many great matchups.
And there's so
much legitness, and that's why I hate when we see stuff like with Omega and stuff with the Dark Order, and then you see stuff that's so badass, and it's like, why can't you just like give me this for 2 hours instead of this other crap? But
you got like certain like types of like audience, they love those things, so that's why at least they gotta like give pieces to everybody. But I feel that like at least for this, Cody went to the extent of doing all of that. Great. So family, this is what we have for you as the show. Pretty, like I said, enjoyable AEW Dynamite. The buzz is gonna keep growing. In 2 weeks, CM Punk, believe me, the whole internet is gonna like be going like bananas, ballistic about the whole thing. Be with us because we're gonna have everything. Subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Also, like, give the video a like so more people get exposed to us. So where else can they find us, Paul?
And make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets, and those are Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And tomorrow, don't forget NXT UK. So you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is.